Hey, welcome to another ramble okay, look, at this point I know that January has a lot of rambles, so I just decided, you know what, fuck it, let's go for the record. Let's just do all rambles and just get it done with. Yes, I didn't finish the music video, which you can expect this Friday for sure, or maybe Wednesday. No, Friday, I think Friday is better. Just give me time, make sure that I actually do everything, that I actually have time to finish everything. But given that I don't have the music ready and that I released two videos that weren't rambles this month, I decided to just come here and still upload something, so people aren't just sitting there waiting for the music video, the music tier list part 3, and then it never comes out. Anyway, in this video, because I'm always complaining about the game, I decided to do something a little bit different and just talk about what I actually do like in the game? Question mark. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about just my favorite skill in RuneScape in both games, pretty much. And when I was thinking about it, I realized that I don't really have a favorite skill. I don't think. Like I was thinking about, okay, which skill do I really enjoy doing? And there was nothing. Like, don't get me wrong, I have some skills that I enjoy doing, but I don't have that one that I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoy this, I could go for this skill right now, I have nothing to do, I'm gonna do this skill. I don't really have that skill. So after thinking a little bit about it, the conclusion that I came to is that mining is definitely not that skill. Like, I'm sorry, I can't, I don't know, I try to like this skill, there's something about it, something, especially about the ores depleting. This is garbage, it's garbage. Except for RuneScape 3. RuneScape 3 mining, no notes. But yes, old school one, garbage. Now, I thought a lot about it, and as you can see, I have a lot of 99s. So I think that the obvious answer usually to which skill is people's favorite is Slayer, right? Slayer is like, oh yeah, you do PvM, you do bosses, you kill monsters, you get drops, you use different gear. Kind of exciting to do, right? I don't think it's my favorite. Like, I had fun doing Slayer, but I don't think it would be my favorite skill. I think the reason as to why it's not my favorite skill is simply A, XP rates can be excruciatingly slow, especially if you're not like tryharding Slayer, and B, sometimes the variety gets a bit tiring because like sometimes in the game you don't want to actively play, you just want sort of like AFK, and sometimes you're just at the mercy of whatever tasks you get, which aren't always the best, right? Some tasks are just kind of garbage and you can't really AFK them, but they're not that interesting to do. So, ultimately, I slowly came to the conclusion that there were a couple of skills that I actually did enjoy doing, or at least that I had some respect for. Skills like agility, which, despite not being my favorite, as you can see, I'm well past 99, and despite not being my favorite, look, I can respect agility. I grew to like I hated agility, especially when there was only rooftops, but nowadays it's like, you have plenty of methods, the XP rates aren't all that bad anymore, and it's a pretty chill skill, it doesn't require much attention, you do have to click quite a bit, but yeah, it's not like that bad anymore. Same with runecrafting, honestly, people hate runecrafting, and I'm thoroughly convinced that the only reason as to why people hate runecrafting is purely because low XP rates, that's it. I think that if runecrafting at like an average of 100k XP per hour, with like a active method of a normally you just going to an altar, bank, altar type thing, people would probably not have a problem with that. But like if you do natures, for example, it's what, like 40k XP per hour? Maybe? I remember doing double cosmics for GP, I was getting not even 50k, I think, something like that. And I was using the questcape method, so it was much faster to get to the altar and everything, right? So ultimately, it don't earn quite a lot of XP per hour doing runecrafting, and I think that's the biggest problem, because there's something about just running to the altar and then running back and then running to the altar and just like making runes. There's something about it. I'm telling you, there is something about it. I just find it really relaxing for the most part. Like, I know, yes, it's runecrafting, whatever. I don't even have 99 yet, so. But yeah, look, I think that honestly, runecrafting is kind of relaxing. Look, especially in RuneScape 3, because if you do Abyss in RuneScape 3, runecrafting, you can make a lot of GP, like a fucking lot of GP, dude. There's so much GP to be done with this skill. So, while it's not my favorite, it's another skill that I didn't really enjoy, and I kind of grew up to enjoy it. And another skill, and this one is more on the opposite side, I think that this skill is the perfect example to contrast with runecrafting. While runecrafting, I think, would be a more loved skill if it had faster XP rates. I think the only reason as to why people don't take this skill is because of the fast XP rates. And that's construction. Look, construction alongside mining fucking sucks. Like, oh, but the XP rates are super fast. Yeah, and if it weren't for that, the fucking skill would be garbage. Like, it just, you click remove, click build, click remove, click build. That's all there is to construction. That's the entire fucking skill. It's not particularly fun to train the fucking skill. Alright, so I think the construction with, honestly, alongside mining, and the reason as to why I hate mining more is probably because, yeah, less XP rates. Alongside mining, my other like worst skill would be probably construction. However, after thinking about it, there's one skill outside of all of this that to this day I enjoyed when I was younger, and to this day I still enjoy. You know, it's a skill that ultimately, look, it's not the best XP per hour, it doesn't have the best methods, it doesn't have the best GP, it's woodcutting. Why do I like woodcutting, you might ask? For one simple reason. I think that woodcutting is just relaxing. Look, there's something about just clicking a tree and then just watching your character like chop the tree. You know, and then you just get locked in your inventory and then you just repeat. Especially if you're playing with sounds where, you know, you just hear the axe go choo, 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 and then you like the tree falls and, you know, there's that noise that boop. You know, there's something relaxing about it. I'm telling you, there's something relaxing about it. I don't know why, especially, I think that woodcutting brings a lot of nostalgia. I used to train woodcutting through use, because I was like, oh, it's the highest level, so obviously it's the fastest XP rate per hour, right? Nope, but that's what I thought. So I would try to, like, I would be over level 60, at which point, keep in mind, this was like over 10 years ago, but I would be getting, you know, like 100k XP per night or something like that, something really low, because I used to chop yews in the, like, east of Varrock, so where the sawmill is, you know, that area, there's a couple of yew trees there, and I used to cut yew trees there, right? And I used to cut yew trees there because there was no competition and everything, and I would just cut trees there, and honestly, real relaxing. I would be getting like a level per night, and I would be like, oh my god, this is so huge. And then it was like I got into the 70s. This was back when like I thought that anything above level 50 was like huge, right? And now like fucking, yeah, maybe I got a bit out of hand. But after like, you know, I got to level 17, I was like, oh my god, this is so big. And then, you know, it was taking me like 2 nights to get to, you know, with getting level and stuff like that. Honestly, overall, yeah, I gotta say, like, woodcutting, it's a simple skill, and this was even before forestry as well, and now with forestry it just got better in my opinion. Like, it's not the best GP, it's not the best, you know, skill to train when it comes to the amount of methods you have. Most methods just involve you cutting trees pretty much. It's not the best XP per hour or anything like that. It's just a relaxing skill. Like, it doesn't have the most depthness, it doesn't have the most, you know, items or types of trees or types of logs. No, it's just like, hey, you cut trees. That's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. And yeah, it's fairly simple. Honestly, in a way, I do wish that woodcutting got more content, because, and I don't mean just forestry, I just mean like more trees. Just come up with more trees, you know what I mean? I think that I was thinking about ints, like there's this idea that someone had where, I think it was the Artisans Guild, when they were giving the feedback for forestry. They had a mechanic where if you essentially saw you had a tree, let's pretend this anvil is a tree, it would have like a weak point on one of the sides, and if you were standing on that side, you would do like extra quote-unquote damage to the tree, so you'd get more XP per hour, right? And then that weak point would change, so woodcutting would be a bit more active per hour. I really love that mechanic, but I think it should be combined with evil trees. You know, the ends that, you know, you used to have when cutting trees, where your character would get scared. RuneScape 3 actually still does have ends as a sort of like D&D, sort of like mining stars, where it's like they appear randomly at certain predefined spots, and it's just really fun. I think that's an activity that old school could do with. I would love to just go around and, you know, just chop some ends. I think, yeah, I think it's a really fun activity, and I really like that mechanic, because I think that mechanic just, again, it puts an active twist to woodcutting. You're actually paying attention to woodcutting, you're paying attention to your character just swinging an axe, and then, oh, what's that? Weak point changed? Okay, now you cut the tree again. And then you pay attention, and then weak point changes, and you do it again. This way, for the people that want to just, like AFK, they can just sit on one side of the tree and just cut the tree. But for the people that want to train it actively, they can just actually go around the tree and actually cut the tree on the weak point. You don't actually need to change the system overall, you just add something to it that if people are paying attention, they can, still get more rewards, but if they don't get punished. It goes back to that thing that I mentioned a couple of months ago in, I don't know which video it was, but essentially it has to do with positive punishment versus negative punishment, where in one you take away a reward and the other just don't give the potential reward. Here it would work perfectly, For the people that don't engage with it, you simply don't give extra XP. For the people that do engage with it, you do, right? And again, it doesn't take a lot of mechanic, it doesn't take a genius to understand it. You just put the tree, you put some markings in the tree or something like that, so you understand that if you're on this side of the tree, it's a weak point, you get more XP, go there, same thing, or you get double logs or something like that. You know what I mean? Just something along those lines. You can combine it with ants, the way you fight ants maybe, or something like that. Or I can do the two ideas separately. But I don't know, I just think that would be a really nice idea, and I think that, yeah, woodcutting kind of does need a bit of content, because currently it really does not have that much content. Ultimately as well, because that's another thing, when it comes to woodcutting, and as I've mentioned, I think that a lot of players, when it comes to skills, they usually value different things. So players value XP per hour. So if a skill is really fast, players are more likely to like that skill. If a skill has a lot of content, players are more likely to like it and stuff like that. Woodcutting has none of that for me. I know that it doesn't have the best XP rates per hour, although it does if you like 1.5 tick or something, but I don't care that much about tick manipulation. Or, GP, I mean, given all the PVM that exists and how many bosses and monsters drop logs, you really don't make a lot of GP from woodcutting. Maybe forestry store, but even then, you don't really make a lot, right? Again, you don't have a lot of training methods, so really, I know it's a weird skill to have as your favorite, but it's simple. You just sit there and you eat a tree. You just chop a tree down. That's all there is to it. It's super relaxing. There's just something about it. I don't know. Maybe that's what people find in mining as well, because I know that some people like mining, which absolutely insane people, but I think that's maybe what people find in mining as well, because mining sucks. There's not a lot of money to be made on it, again, because a lot of ores are devalued from PVM monsters. Training methods, again, it's not exactly the fastest skill per hour, especially if you choose more traditional methods as opposed to tick manipulation methods, and there's not much to it. The skill is simple. You just click on the rock and you eat it, and you get ores. That's it. There's something about that maybe for people, and that's what I value on woodcutting. You eat your axe against the tree, you get log. I don't know, there's a certain beauty in how simple it is and how relaxing it is. Maybe that's what people find about mining. My problem with mining is that the resources deplete, and that just kind of sucks. So maybe if they didn't deplete, maybe, RuneScape 3, maybe that's why I like mining in RuneScape 3. But yeah, that is pretty much my favorite skill in both RuneScape 3 and Old School. I hope Jagex adds more to it, but if they don't, honestly, this is the only skill that I can be like, I mean, yeah, I have at 99, but why not just go to Redwoods or something and just sit there and get a few logs? You know what I mean?